What's going on? Okay, gotta cool it. Keystones. Love them or hate them, they're one of WoW's 3 pillars of endgame content. People run dungeons over and over, pushing them higher and higher, chasing gear and score increases. Tons of keys are run every day, with people all over pushing to reach the top. But I had an idea. Is it possible to take an absolutely fresh level 70 and pug my way up to Keystone Hero, the highest achievement the game gives you for dungeons? Join me each week as we take my absolute rat of a character and pug my way through dungeons until we reach the top of the mountain and pug ourselves into Keystone Hero. This is Pugging Keystone Hero, Season 1, Arms Warrior. So we're going to start off this week's episode with the vault from last week. I actually remember to record it this time. So we have 2 choices. We have pants and we have whetstone. Now normally the pants would be a big deal, but one of my embellishment options is on my pants slot. So we end up going with the whetstone. Now whetstone's a very powerful trinket, so I'm not really that upset with this. Whetstone can slot right into our current trinket lineup with our active being replaced. We have like a 336 Blazebind hoof or something. So we slap the whetstone in there. Whetstone's very strong in single target. We end up looting a 5 Azure Vault key to start the week off. So we're at 371 right now. Still need some rings, still need a helmet and some gloves. But all in all, our warrior is starting to get some gear and starting to climb up, so maybe we could actually plug into the other keys besides our own. With that though, we'll just hop over to the 5 Azure Vaults. If you like the content, drop a like, leave a sub, and a comment as well, and I will see you guys in the vaults. Alright, so we're here at the first boss. Now I go into this first boss basically with no cooldowns, just having Warbreaker. So we're not going to do the most damage, basically because I'm missing most of my kit. But, you know, bigger damage and adds. So in this video here, whenever there's not a lot happening on screen or in the packs, I'm probably just going to skip to the boss videos. As we get further in the series and the packs get harder, we'll probably do more of that. But for now, just the boss. So this boss is pretty simple as long as the tank is good at breaking those things. He hit 1. But again, it's a 5, so it's not a big deal. So we're just going to slam the boss here. Whenever this comes out, it's very important you get over to hit as many of these as you can. So I end up cleaving, I think, 3 or 4. I could probably go to the right and hit another one. I hit 4 there. And we ended up leaving 4. So I'm a little scared of this. You know, on a hierarchy level 4 would just kill you. So whenever it blows up, I'm going to shout and pop Spell Reflect. I'm getting a little better at my utility. And then the boss kind of just melts and falls over. Not very hard content, right? It's only a 5 still. So the bosses can just pretty much be brute forced. Also, the bear goes to loot it, so shout out to that bear. I hope he got loot from that. It would really be cool if he did. But the boss went pretty smoothly. Nothing else really happened between this boss and the next boss either. Just kind of casual, normal pack stuff. Nothing really exciting. So we will catch you at Azure Blade. So here we are at Azure Blade. Now, Azure Blade is one of those bosses that can go really, really poorly. I would honestly say it's probably the hardest boss in the instance. We also don't have Lust here. During Lust is a good one to put here. So he's going to spawn these little ads. You actually want to bring the boss over to cleave. The tank does not move them, and I'm also the only person attacking them, which is pretty great. It dies and speeds out those little circles, but the big difficult part is actually going to come in whenever the boss transitions to its middle phase, which is going to happen pretty soon. So I'm attacking this ad. I start blade storming, knowing that the ad was going to spawn soon. So I blade storm, and then both ads come up, and I get a big juicy whirlwind on them to pad a little bit. But this is probably the hardest part of this fight because it's just how spread out everybody gets. In pugs, especially when you can't coordinate which one to go to first, or you just aren't, or in low keys. It gets really dangerous for your healer to heal everybody because you can definitely outrange your healer, especially with evokers, which is a big issue. But again, because it's a low level, it's not that bad. I think I end up committing shout there to help out the healer a little bit just to get us through that hard part. But we end up, you know, dealing with it pretty easily. So back to the main phase here, we're fighting the ads. Watching out for that orb, I actually just managed to sidestep it because I kind of just wasn't paying attention, didn't notice. But tank just tanks the guy in the middle. He shouldn't, but you know he is. Move over to the cleave. That's one of the other annoying parts, and then the boss falls over pretty easily. Again, you know, it's only a 5, nothing's too difficult, and we end up slamming pretty good on that boss. Definitely could have been a little better if the boss tank decided to cleave the boss to the ads, but he didn't. But again, you know, it's a 5, it doesn't really matter. But in your high keys, definitely want to be having the ads and the boss kind of be cleaved together so that you can kill them a little better. Now, again, nothing from this point forward is that interesting during all these ads. It's just me kind of hitting stuff really hard in AoE. Nothing really to talk about. We don't do frog skip. We kind of just end up messing around with all the frogs. So I will see you guys at the next boss. So here we are at Laywing, the third boss. This boss is pretty straightforward, especially on lower keys when things don't really end up hurting. Basically, you're just going to stack these bombs on the edges, just so that you don't end up, limiting your rune space. Those big runes are going to be safety shields, basically, whenever he does his big cast. Then whoever has Devastator on them kind of has to just get out. The boss, pretty easy, pretty simple. You generally don't want a Bloodlust on pull, because you end up wasting a little bit of it. Homie goes up with about 20 seconds left. It's better to generate Bloodlust right about now when he comes back down. So I shout there for the bomb because it hurts, and just why not, right? But I use my utility. But this boss is pretty straightforward. Homie will just kind of fall over and die. It doesn't really do too much. We're very on pace here. I think we end up plus 2 the key. Probably could have plus 3'd it, but when your 371 warrior is your top DPS, you know that things are going to be a little slower. That's just how we take these dungeons. But I'm using my skills. I've gotten a little better at warrior DPS. Definitely still some things I'm forgetting, like using up my stacks of the Juggernaut damage buff to cleave and mortal strike that I get. Also don't have tier set yet. That'll be a big amp to my single target and AoE damage. And I'm still also not the best at charging in and out of range to get my extra little bit of rage. But the boss is going to die here, and then we're going to end up going down the book. Now, I could leap down and then just heroic leap, but I don't feel like it. So we just take the book down a little bit slower, but is what it is. We end up coming down to the last boss of the instance here. I don't remember his name. Crystal Dragon. We'll just call him Crystal Dragon. Don't remember his name off the top of my head. And boss gets pulled immediately. Barrack pulls it over to a corner. So I start getting slowed. Now, as a Havoc, this is really easy because you can just backflip out of it. As a warrior, Arms Warrior, Bladestorm and Avatar will both end up clearing it because Avatar procs Bladestorm. So I just kind of Bladestorm right there, and then I end up, just DPSing the boss. The big part about this boss, it's not that hard anymore. The crystals need to die. If any crystals get off, you're basically dead. On this low of a key, it doesn't matter. Also, shout out to the random warlock who sent me a guild request, guild invite, when I have guild invites blocked on this character. Y'all are a little bit annoying, honestly. Anyways, so we're killing these crystals. The other dangerous part of this fight is going to be those big arcane orbs. The longer the fight goes, the more of those you're going to get. And the more melee you have, the more they're going to annoy you in melee range, basically. So we're just going to slam them. Boss is going to end up dying. I hop over to kill that last crystal. Ended up dying. And then we're going to get our last wave of crystals right now. So they spawn every 25% of his health, so you get 3 of them. Because, the last 25% he's going to die at 0, so it doesn't matter. The boss probably is not going to die before the crystals do, is my thought. So I end up going over to start DPSing them, because if 2 or 3 of them go off, I think we do just die. So I'm trying my best to get these low. I think the hunter's in the back doing it too. So we can see that goes off right before the boss dies, and then the boss dies. So maybe not the best idea. Maybe could have just, DPS the boss the whole time, but whatever. So we actually don't have enough percentage here. We ended up missing a pack in the ring. So we teleport back up and just go to these plants up here and just end up killing them really quickly. Actually, I don't even know where the bear's going. I don't know why he went to the right there, but whatever. So we kill these plants, and then we end up timing the key. And at the end, we loot a Algathar Academy 7. So that is the next key we'll be doing, and I will catch you guys there. Okay, so I know I said Algathar Academy, but we plus 3'd that key. It wasn't that interesting, so I decided to do it in post that we're just going to skip it and go right to the 10. So this is a 10 Court of Stars. Oh boy, is this a nightmare. So we start off with this first mob here, whatever, it's fine. We fight a little bit down here and then end up pulling up the stairs. We all quake each other. I love 10s. So Shaman just eats a frontal, and then we end up moving up. So he has to respawn all the way at the start because we haven't gotten to the checkpoint yet, which is up the stairs. So whatever, we move forward here up the stairs. Definitely a scary place to be with quaking, but we deal with it. So we go up, and we enter out into the open area, and the tank pulls a lot. And honestly, I'm just going to stop talking over the video here and just give you guys my live reaction, because it's wild. Oh, a tank died! Oh, what's going on? Yeah, so the tank pulled a few packs, and then immediately ate a frontal, and ended up dying to a bunch of raging mobs, which then, when that's your first pull of a key, with the Shaman not even being here, by the way, that's going to go well. Also, if you check the damage meters out, I'm top damage. I'm 372. The tank's beating the Paladin by a lot. The Shaman ain't even here. So this, you already know, we're in for a fun key. So we end up just finishing off this mob here. And then, you know, we just continue through the dungeon. Normal things happen. Nobody ends up getting that pillar. I thought someone else did, so I just didn't do it. And then we go fight the construct. See, look, I thought somebody went there and did it. We end up fighting the construct on the bridge. Nothing bad happens, but I will be back in like a few minutes here when something else goes down. Okay, so we're here at the very next pull, and we end up pulling everything here. So basically what happened is the tank pulled the construct, and then the sentry got pulled, so we jumped into it, and then someone pulled the worm pack. And you already know this isn't going to go well. So here's me live reacting to the nightmare that ensues. Why are we pulling like this? What are we doing? What's going on? What's happening? What? Like what? Okay, gotta cool it. So that was kind of wild. Anyways, as the tank said, we do cool it. We cool it off a bit. We pull a little slower here, a little safer, especially for what this tank can do and what our group is capable of. Nobody's kicking. It's just rough all around. So pretty uneventful up until the first boss. We're going to skip ahead to him, and I'll catch you guys there. Pillar? Or no, we're going to wait and do it. I think we just pull boss with this pillar up. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Lust. Alright, so we are PI'd. Joke's on you, we spin! Okay, so here comes the other guy. Oh, I'm dead! I'm just dead! Oh, I lived! Holy fuck! I'm dead now. Oh my god! So yeah, that's generally what happens in a group with no kicks when you pull with pillars up. So I got stunned by the thing. The priest did not dispel me, and I died. Which is bad because I am our top DPS. So at this point, it's all on the warrior and not the warrior, the demon hunter and the paladin. Things go poorly. So right, I think about now. So the priest doesn't clear his stacks, and homie just stands in this thing. He jumps way too late and dies. Luckily, we did end up getting the file, the alchemy file. So the boss does die at 25%, which is all these chuckle people gotta get to. And the boss runs off, and we end up making it. But that did not go well. I was like, are we going to wait, or are we going to go get that pillar? And we did not wait. We just kind of sent it and pulled the boss. But we got there in the end. And I got to say, this isn't even the craziest part of this key, but this is going great. So from here, we head on up into the open area, and things seem to be maybe getting a little bit better. But no, they do not get better. So I will catch you guys when we're up there. So here we are, about halfway through the first Enforcer fight, and this Enforcer fight goes fine. The Paladin ends up thinking you can LOS through this statue. He does it once and gets hit, and I guess he just thought he didn't LOS properly, because he does try to do it again to the Raging one. Again, I also forgot to bring in Rage Dispel from the key, but yeah, oh well. So he dies, and this is really where the nightmare begins. So the priest starts to res him, and in this scenario, whenever the Enforcer's coming, or the mini boss, and the res stops, you need to release immediately, because once you're in combat with this thing, you are in boss combat and you cannot get the paladin up. So we're like, okay, we're gonna go without the paladin. So we end up doing Amakatya. Nothing too bad happens, so we might end up skipping ahead a bit here and catching on the tail end of the Amakatya fight. The shaman also dies, but that's not that big of a deal. So here we are, Amakatya has just died, and the Paladin immediately releases. Now at this point, the Priest actually starts rezzing, and I think what the Paladin forgot is that when you release here, you kind of spawn all the way on the other side of a bunch of packs. So what the Paladin ends up doing, and I don't know if he's doing it right now or later. Oh, he does it right now, yeah. So he ends up just walking forward and pulling a pack. So he's going to die again and respawn again. And I'm like, okay, well, we got to go pull to him. So I'm like, okay, let's repair. And then I look go see where he is. He's over there. I'm like, okay, let's go pull to him. So I fall out in the tank. Tank starts running off. I'm like, okay, we're gonna go save the paladin, get him back in the group. make everything good. No, Tank decides he doesn't like the Paladin or something, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna go pull. So we pull the Enforcer out in the open. Now you can LOS this Enforcer around the side of this fountain, but only if you pull it in a really good spot, which the tank did not do. So I had to leap for the first one. You guys have to use that wall to LOS the Enforcer here, or you can go over to the left and use that building, or even those pillars. But none of that happens, right? So I literally just can't afford this one. I guess I could have bull rushed and been fine, but I'm like, okay, I gotta do something here. So I pop Spell Reflect. I use my healing button thing, and then I'm like, okay, I gotta leap. And I don't know why. I think I just panic push a button, and it ends up being Blade Storm. So Shaman dies. We managed to live through that thing there, and now this one's raging. So I'm like, okay, no way in hell we live this. So I just make it around the corner to LOS. But the priest dies, which is bad because there's thundering. So at basically the last second, I end up sprinting back over there and catching the priest with the dispel. But then we end up dying to this dot here. So the three of us all have to release. We end up back at the start here, and it does. Like, what the fuck? Oh, the healer left! Not gonna lie, that's fair. Don't blame him. Dang, well, that's a rip to this key. Alright, well, we're out of here. So yeah, the healer left and the key died. The healer actually ended up messaging me. I think the tank might have as well. I don't really remember. The healer messaged me and was like, yeah, that tank was bad. And honestly, the tank didn't really know what he was doing, and we weren't timing that key anyways. But I ended up grabbing that healer, and then we just dropped this key down to a 7 and ran it again. A few things happened in the 7. It wasn't anywhere near as bad. I think there was just like one pull that got kind of goofed that I'll show you. But in the end, it ended up pretty well, so you can see the healer messaging on the screen. So we'll hop over to the Court of Stars now. I'll show you that goofed up pull. Maybe we're talking about a boss or two. But what a crazy first 10 for this series, eh? That was a good one. So here we are in the next Court of Stars, and really it was going pretty good, and there's actually nothing else I'm probably going to show in this video besides this pull. So the tank pulled the one bridge sentinel to the right, and then I think it was honestly me, but I don't know. It might have been me, might have been the tank. Ended up pulling the sentry. We just kind of let it get off. So the sentry pulled that pack, which pulled the worms, and the tank jumped down. I think we ended up pulling another pack of worms. Anyways, we ended up pulling way too much. There's a subdue cast going off, and the biggest issue with this pull. Oh yeah, here we go. The worms got brought in. Actually, I think the warlock did that. I'm not even sure. Anyways, so the biggest issue here is that there's two not sentinels, sentries, right? The big guys, two of the constructs. There it is. And those constructs heal each other, right? Charging station ends up healing everything around them. It doesn't heal themselves, which is why they're pretty good. But when there's two of them, they can heal each other. So we end up getting a pretty bad go of the lot here. The tank's really upset at us here. He's like, this is why I went right. Bruh. But we run back, and we do end up eventually getting one of them down and killing the pack. And this is probably our biggest time loss of the key. You end up slamming in damage though, which is always fun. You know, we do like to slam. Basically only myself kicking, and there's a lot of kicks in this pack. What with subdue and suppress and whatever and all that. I remember halfway through this that I can actually spell reflect suppress, so that's an important thing. It's very important if you're playing warrior to know what you can and cannot spell reflect. So it's something I'm learning still. As we go through more dungeons, I'll end up having a better handle of it. But pack ends up dying off here, and then there's not really that much more difficulty throughout the rest of this dungeon. So I'll probably just skip ahead to the last boss or something, and I'll catch you guys then. So jumping ahead to the last boss here, like I said, nothing too interesting. If you want to see all of these runs in their full completeness, the VOD of me recording this is up on YouTube. Hopefully I'm going to end up streaming every episode, maybe one or two here where I forget or just don't have time. But we're on the last boss here. Last boss, this guy used to be an absolute house. He used to be so difficult, probably the hardest boss in the key, really make or break it. And he got heavily nerfed, and now it's kind of a joke. So these lines now are really purple, really easy to see, and the damage he does is just much lower. This is also a 7, so we end up blasting. The Arcane Mage goes absolutely off on this this guy. Homie's killing him with so much burst right now in single target. You do just be Arcane. But yeah, so this is not really that hard of a key anymore. The hardest part about it is going to be the second boss, but we didn't have any issues there, so we're just bringing this guy in to talk about it. This key went so much better than the last one, I'm not kidding you. I'm still one of our top DPS, and I don't know if that's because I'm just insane at arms, apparently, or I don't think arms is that busted, or if like people are just not as good in this skill bracket, which, you know, could be the case. But we're going to execute now, so the boss is probably going to fall over pretty fast from here. So at this point, I don't think we got any loot either. I don't think we got a single piece of loot from any of these dungeons, which is very unfortunate. We actually stay at 372 the whole time. But we take this, and we end up going... Oh, I got a neck. Oh, sorry. Oh, I got a neck. Who cares? Anyway, so now we got a Jade Serpent. So I'll jump into that, give you some highlights, probably talk about a few of the bosses here, and I'll catch you then. So this temple is a bit of a funny key. The Death Knight's an absolute pumper. I think he's like 410 or something, but the Priest is like 355. So it's a bit of a funny dichotomy there between the tank being insane and the Priest just being so undergeared. But it goes pretty well. Wise Mari is one of those bosses that you're either, you know, good at dealing with, or you can't see the floor very well and end up dying to the beam. Most of us here live... I think the warrior literally just stands in the beam, though. Yep, there he goes. Beep boop. Oh, this warrior, man. I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but he does... I think it's like Grandpappy or something like that. But he does some stuff. Wait till you see him on the second boss. So we go in and kill this boss pretty fast. Nothing too crazy happens here. I think he even gets rezzed and then uses his own Grief Torch. As we call DPS increase, by the way. Dying to reset your own Grief Torch, that is just pure stonks. So we defeat this boss here, and then we roll on out to the next one. But yeah, Blood DK pumps Warrior did not do too much, but we'll catch him in the next boss. All right, so we hit the second boss. This boss is pretty easy. We're all just kind of AFKing as the fight starts, and then we get into it. So we're attacking the left guy first, and watching the right. So Grandpapa, the other warrior, he's not really here yet. I don't know where he was. I think he was just AFK or something. We're attacking the left one. Homie comes in and just starts full slamming on the right one whenever he's around. Actually, did he die? He might have died, and then we just went without him. I think that's actually what happened. So we're here on the right one now. Grandpapa has still not made it. This Evoker, so those of you that don't know, Evoker naturally cleaves with their Q. Attorney Surge, sorry. And that actually gives them a stack, so that's not very good. So anyways, we're swapping back off, and Grandpapa just runs in like a bullet and is just slamming into the right one and ends up getting an immune. And homie's still there. He's still hitting the immune ad right now. He is not swapped off of it yet, and now he changes off it right as the ad dies. So we kind of just have to sit here, doing part to both the Evoker, just his class, just counting Eternity Surge Cleaves as giving him a stack. And then Grandpapa just deciding to be a hero and try and kill the right mob and wasting his time, I guess. I don't know. It was kind of funny in the time. I don't know what the guy was thinking, but homie just charged in there and started slamming into the right mob, even when it was immune. So you gotta give him credit for the dedication to attacking that right mob. But we'll head on up to the big packs and for the third boss here, and I'll catch you guys then. Alright, so we're here at this big group of mobs here, and the Blood DK has decided to pull 3 packs in one with multiple of the Fear guys. Now normally, if you are a coordinated group, you can deal with this with stuns and stops. But in low keys like this, nobody kicks, including the Blood Death Knight, by the way, which I was a little shocked about. No one kicks, no one stuns, no one stops. So I try and kick it. I think I get my kick off, but I guess someone else stuns it, so I don't kick the next one. And then the next one is what wipes us. So I thought my kick was down, and so I didn't end up kicking it. I was just not paying attention, kind of panicking. But so we die there, and then they keep going off. So I get feared into this door, which is definitely not a fun time. This was after already the stuff I was dealing with in Court of Stars too. So we kind of just run in that door, we run back. Eventually the Blood Death Knight ends up just dying and wiping, and we just do it normally. And that's kind of the last exciting part of the key. But it was really funny for him to just fear us all, chain fear us all, because homie wanted to spice things up a bit. Also, apparently you can get feared through the door into the last area there, which is he was saying happened. I didn't see it. I don't know if you can or not, but that is what was saying. So from here on out, nothing really too exciting happens. I'll show you guys the last boss just for some, why not? And then we'll catch you then, I guess. So we're here on the last boss, and this last boss can actually get pretty scary on high tyrannical keys, which this is not, so this boss is pretty easy. We all stay relatively stacked up near that pillar there, spreading out from where the big dots go out. The Evoker lusts, I think I finally have my cooldowns for a boss encounter. I'm not fully sure on that. And we end up just slamming into them. We phase here. Now these ads are pretty scary if you don't end up dealing with them, but we all stack. I can move forward just so I can cheat a little bit and get uptime. we all stack and get our backs there. These things kind of just melt to our cleave, and then the boss is just pretty easy. So nothing too serious. The biggest thing was that Court of Stars this week. That was a crazy key. I couldn't believe all that happened. But that's going to be it for this episode. So after this was my last one for the week. I again didn't get loot. The other warrior got a ring. He needed it, which sucks, but hey, is what it is. But yeah, so that's the end for this week. We're ending off at around 700 IO with around 371 gear score, 372 gear score. So we're about a third of the way, a quarter of the way done the series, but it is going to pick up as we get higher and higher keys here, and as our little warrior starts to get higher eye level. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Let me know about the editing. I'm trying, new stuff with this video series each week. Let me know if you liked it. And of course, drop a sub, leave a like, and drop a comment down below what's your favorite part. It would help me spread the series around. Really trying to get this, a little more views in the series, but a lot of work into this. I think it's really fun. So with that, I hope you all enjoyed this episode. See the stream schedule if I post one, or you can generally see when I'm going to stream the next episode if you want to check that out. Leave a like. The VOD's up as well if you wanted to see just the unedited footage of all this stuff. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll catch you guys next week. Peace. A big shout out to my YouTube channel members, Dimmy and Flapjack67. Your guys' support has really helped me make these videos as good as I can. If you're looking to support me and help me make more videos and better videos, then click the link in the description below to learn more about channel membership and get a ton of sweet perks while you help me make this channel as great as it can. Thank you.